Hi bees, welcome back to Be or Not to Be with Michelle and Austin. This week we'll be wrapping up our Halloween themed Tea with Honey time, which will lead to our Halloween special on Halloween Day.
Ooh, I'm so excited for it. I hope you guys are too.
Oh, get ready. This week is the best movie so far.
Probably one of the most morbid and a little more darker compared to the other movies we've watched.
This is definitely darker. This is the darkest movie out of like any of the movies so far.
Definitely.
And it's funny because it's still for children.
What is it, PG?
It's rated PG, man.
I'm surprised.
But it's funny. We'll get into this later. But it's funny because on TV, it premiered as TV-14, which is equivalent to PG-13 in theaters.
Oh, wow.
So,
well, I would go with the PG-13 rating.
Yeah, this is a little bit more crazy.
But
anyways, we're going to be, as you know, we're going to be following the format of Tea with Honey. We're going to be asking 3 questions, and we'll answer them at the end. The first question is, was it a good movie? Well, the second one is, does the movie hold up in today's Halloween culture? And the third is, do we still like it? If not, why?
Ooh.
So, V, here's the final question. What movie are we watching this week?
Well, it's a little dark, like we said. It's a little morbid.
Mm-hmm.
Came out in 2009, and it's Coraline.
Oh my god.
Totally did not mean for that to rhyme.
I mean, honest to God, though, like, you guys read the title. You guys know what it's going to be.
Right. But actually, do you remember watching this for the first time, B?
I actually was a sophomore in high school when I watched it, so I watched it technically in 2010.
Because for reference, in 2009 when it came out, we were freshmen.
Yeah, we were 14?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were like old already. And it was still kind of scary.
Yeah. Actually, do you remember my first time watching this was last year after you recommended it to me as we were driving to work one day.
Which is crazy because I thought you'd watched it already.
No, like I remember seeing it and I just thought it was like another kid's movie, whatever. So I didn't bother with it. And then you told me, okay, just watch it at work or whatever. And because I can like do my job and watch a movie at the same time, I was like, okay, I have nothing to watch. Sure, I'll just watch it. And after watching it, I like G-chatted you and was like, holy cow, I was not expecting this. This took a turn I did not expect. Whoa, this is dark.
It's actually terrifying. Like,
yeah.
If this came out when we were children, I
would have been scared.
Yeah.
And I remember the next morning, this is all I could talk about.
It was great, though. I mean, honest to God, this is probably one of my favorite movies. Not of all time, I guess, but it's up there. Mm-hmm. Like, it's really good. It's just really dark.
Yeah. And I guess like that kind of attracts us to it in a way. Did you ever think we would be doing a podcast on this movie?
Honestly, not really. But then again, I never really thought we'd be doing a podcast in general. So this is kind of just a crazy turn for our friendship / business ventures.
Yeah. And we're doing things that we actually like.
I know.
Topics that we actually like.
Scary movies, apparently.
Oh, conspiracy theories like a couple weeks ago. But anyways, so like I said, the movie that we're doing is Coraline. Mm-hmm. And the quick summary for those of you who didn't watch it is when young Coraline and her family move to a new town, she feels bored and neglected by her parents who are constantly working. As she explores their new house, she finds a passage to a parallel world of her life where everything is better, except everyone has buttons for eyes. As she relishes in this better world, she soon comes to realize that her other mother is actually trying to trap her to eat her soul. Coraline must do everything she can to stop her and get back to her real world.
Honestly, just based off the summary, is terrifying.
Mm-hmm. It sounds adventurous, it sounds fun, but it does have a little scare to it.
Do you remember when the previews for this movie came out?
I don't.
It didn't seem as scary as like what actually came out in theaters. That's why I feel like a lot of children, when they first started watching, they're like, oh, okay.
They had different expectations.
Yeah, it's like not as scary as it came off to be. And then as soon as like, you know, the meat of the movie started coming out, that's when it started like, when like literal poop hit the fan, you know? So really, it was terrifying.
Yeah, like, I mean, when you first told me about it and you gave me like the basic rundown of it, I was like, okay, sounds like another kid's movie, but Boy, was my eyes opened.
We're laughing because there's a reference to eyes in the movie, but we'll get into that.
Well, before we go any further, just a disclaimer for spoilers. Just that there will be spoilers in this podcast. So if you haven't watched it or do not want to know what happens, then please buzz away and come back after you watched it. Because after you watched it, you're probably going to be like me and have a lot to say or have a lot of things you just want to talk about.
Yeah, seriously. I have a lot. I mean, I watched this probably for the 4th time right now. Like last night was the 4th time we watched it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not kidding you. I spotted things that I never thought. Well, like I didn't put them together until like last night. So we're getting into this. I'm excited. I have 2 theories lined up for you.
You and your theories.
It's exciting. That's what a Ravenclaw does.
Back to our second podcast reference. Well, anyway, let's get into it, B.
Okay, so the movie begins with metal claws ripping apart an old doll and stitching together a new one that takes the form of our protagonist, Coraline.
And just like in these couple, like 30 seconds, whatever, I could already see that it seemed like they were reusing an old doll to make Coraline. Like they were taking apart the stitching, the eyes, and using the same base to make this. So I was already kind of thinking like, oh, why not just make one from scratch? Why are they using this doll that looks like another girl? Taking it apart piece by piece just to make Coraline.
And it's crazy. I mean, there's like a little bit of like thing. There's a little reference for later on in the future, but it's stuffed with sand that's specifically used in the other world for later on.
Oh yeah.
So
see, even 30 seconds in, and we have our questions.
I know. So, anyways, the movie actually begins, I guess, with a new family, which we later come to realize is the Jones family, are moving into the Pink Palace apartments. So I put in my notes that there's an interesting fact about the movers.
What?
So one of the movers was the model was based off of this story man person from Disney Pixar, Joe Ranft. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but he was in production for The Lion King, Toy Story, Roger Rabbit, and Cars. And he, I guess, recently died during the production of the movie. So they did a tribute for him and his brother as the 2 movers in the movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like iconic movies too, like Lion King. Wow.
Yeah, so it was really cool. And I mean, I don't really know them that well, so like I can't really say, but apparently like the mannerisms of the movers were like reminiscent of how the movers were acting in the movie, or like how he would act in real life in the movie.
That's really cool because they're keeping him alive in this, in this movie.
Yeah.
To be remembered or like to be perpetuated in such a interesting movie like this. What an honor.
I know, it's crazy.
Well, back to the story. Coraline, who is our main protagonist, is exploring the forest in the back of her apartment looking for a well, and she explores the forest, and as she explores the forest, she meets a kid named YB and his black cat. We find out that she moved to Oregon from Michigan.
Which is not that important of a detail for the entire plot of the movie, but it's important of a detail for my theory at the end of this plot summary. So we'll get into this. I'm excited. Okay.
And as she's exploring the forest, she pulls a branch from a bush and uses it as her magic dowsing rod to look for this well. And comes to find out, YB points out that, oh, you have poison oak in your hand, and you see her hand is irritated, which may seem minor, but it comes into play later.
Yeah.
And her whole like initial impression of YB is like he seems like a stalker. He seems like a weird kid.
I mean, honestly, I probably get the same vibes too.
Yeah, because he was dressed like kind of like scene/emo.
And he had that weird ass helmet.
Yeah, it gave me like Mad Max Fury Road vibes.
I know. Honest to God, though, that's a pretty cool helmet. Like, I mean, the fact that you can like crank a lever and like it turns into microscopes, like, that's pretty cool. But it's also kind of terrifying.
And we also see this black cat that he says is feral, but he like takes care of it.
So really, it's just like an unhoused house cat.
Yeah. So the next scene cuts to Coraline at home, and we see how Coraline's parents overlook and neglect her, and she sometimes acts out or whatever because she wants their attention, but they're just too busy working. And we also see that in this scene that YB left a gift for Coraline on her porch, and as she opens it, it's a doll that looks exactly like her.
Yeah.
And also I just wanted to point out in this scene that she was telling her mom about her adventure while the mom is working on her laptop, and you hear the typing and everything, and Coraline even like baits her mother and says, oh, I almost died today.
Yeah, I almost fell in a well.
Yeah, and her mom was like, oh, that's interesting.
I mean, honestly, that's kind of like how my mom and I talk to each other all the time. Like, I'll just like, give her like an extreme story and she'll just brush it off like no big deal.
But it's just like, like as Coraline is trying to recount like her day, her mom literally says, I don't have time for you.
Yeah.
Which is kind of sad, but I understand parents have to work.
Yeah, I get it because editing, I would assume, takes like a lot of time. And she's an editor, her husband's a writer, and they're writing a column for a garden magazine.
Yeah, like a catalog or something for plants or something.
Yeah, so I mean, if the deadline is crunching, I understand, busy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're also raising a family.
You're also a parent.
So
you chose to be a parent. you have the responsibilities that come with it.
I know.
Coming from two very single people.
I know. Hey, we were raised on parents too, so like, Also, I want to point out that as far as the doll is concerned, YB said that his grandma was the owner of the doll.
Oh, he found it.
Yeah,
right.
He found it in his grandma's chest or something like that.
Yeah.
He found it basically
around the house.
Yeah, and his grandma also is kind of like this superstitious lady. We never really meet her, but she's always kind of there in a way.
Like her name's always there.
Yeah. So
Coraline is really attached to this, or like she pretends like, oh, like it's so creepy. Why does this doll look like me? But she ends up taking it everywhere she goes.
Yeah, it's a mini her. So we cut to the scene where
she sees her dad in his working room,
right.
And you look at him and you can just tell how overworked, tired, and busy he is. He literally is gray in the face, has bag under his eyes, his hair is so unkept.
His nose is like red.
Yeah.
It's funny though because he's tired, but he's also kind of trying to be a father to Coraline in a way.
Because she comes and she's asking Dad, oh, where's the gardening tools? I want to go outside. And he's like, well, what did the boss say? AKA the mom. She's like, Coraline, don't get any mud in here. Don't go outside, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, there's your answer. Typical dad move.
It is like, I guess like if he was like a little less stressed, he'd probably be like a stereotypical dad with like all the dad jokes and everything. But he's really stressed right now, so you have to kind of a little bit of slack. So he tells Coraline to count basically anything that's blue in the house, including windows, paintings, and doors, which is probably the most important thing. While exploring her new home, she finds a tiny door which is apparently blocked off with bricks. So basically, in this scene, she asks her mom if she can unlock the door, and she finds the key, which is like, I mean, if you had it was like a drawer of keys, and the only key in there had a button for like the tip of the key. Don't you think that's a little suspicious?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I want to open that door.
Out of like the 30 keys that are in the drawer, how did you know it was this one?
Yeah, it's mind-boggling. But anyway, she opens it. It's bricked up. She can't do anything about it.
And the mom is like, okay, there, are you happy? Now leave me alone to work.
Yeah.
And here, like, I'm just like, oh, interesting. A little door. I wonder where this will lead to.
So we cut to the scene. It's not that important, but I just wrote them in my notes for reference. The family's eating dinner. Her dad cooks. Her mom cleans. But the dad's an awful cook. He cooks some like this sludge.
Yeah, it kind of looked like chow fun.
Yeah, it's like a really greasy,
Gummy.
yeah,
Gummy chow fun.
yeah, it was like gelatinized. Like if you had chow fun and then it was like,
Yeah,
it was like
exactly.
put in the fridge.
Specifically the one from high school.
Oh my god, no one else in the mainlands knows what we're talking about. Everybody's like, what's chow fun? Chow fun for reference is Chinese noodles.
Like thick noodles.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just didn't look appetizing.
Yeah. So in the scene, we notice I noticed three things, which is going to be kind of important when she goes later on into the next scene. Her family is eating terrible dinner, like terrible food. Her family is also constantly arguing.
Yeah.
All the time. It's mostly just the parents with each other.
Or sometimes they get kind of like irritated and fed up with Coraline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not a good communication scheme. And her room in general is in bad condition. Like it's you can see like the water damage in the ceiling. You can see
Yeah. They moved into a new place, but it's in old condition.
Yeah, but I guess that's more of the place's fault, not hers or anything like that. But it does play a role in the fact that she's kind of miserable in this new place right now. So, so we cut to the scene. She had went to bed, and she awakes in the middle of the night and is led to the mini door in the wall by a mouse, as she discovers that it's no longer bricked up.
Which is weird. Like this door became available at nighttime. Isn't that already a little sketchy?
It's really sketchy, which makes it more sketchy when she crawls through the tunnel that leads her to another reality that looks exactly like hers but seems happier. So in this scene, the colors really are more vibrant. It almost feels kind of like a Christmas scene in a way.
Made the house seem like a lot more like bougier or richer because it just seems so alive.
But it also kind of gives me those Hansel and Gretel kind of vibes too. So
also, I want to know here that the tunnel in my head, even when I first watched it, it kind of looked like a birthing canal, kind of.
Really?
Like it just made me think like, oh, from this one world going into another world. It kind of made me think like, oh, it's like she's being born again into this reality.
Okay. I mean, that could be a metaphor. There could be a metaphor somewhere in there. I was just thinking like, is it supposed to be like a galaxy almost? Like it's supposed to look like a galaxy?
It did give me galaxy vibes.
Because like, I know it's like claymation, so you can only do so much with claymation, but like, it's supposed to be like you're getting transported to a different
dimension.
Like a wormhole basically.
Yeah, a wormhole.
Okay. Because I was thinking all it looked like to me was like cloth that was just connecting
like a paper.
Rooms. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, so she meets the lookalikes of her parents, which we later find out are the other parents.
They refer to them as, I'm your other mother.
Yeah.
I'm your other father.
And the key difference is that they have buttons for eyes. And the other minor differences are that they're loving to her, they pay attention.
It's actually
to her.
a big difference because it really contrasts with her parents who are her real parents.
You're right.
The attitude, and it just seems like the kind of parents that Coraline wanted to have. The ones that, give her everything she wants, have all the time in the day to listen to her. And her dad even sings her a song. Because as the other mother tells her to tell her other father to come down for dinner, she goes up to his study room, which is actually his piano room. And he sings her a song, and one line that really stuck out to me was, "You're cute as a button for whoever laid eyes on her."
So I remember, this is like a conspiracy, not a conspiracy, it's just like a movie breakdown. I watched a video on it, and they said that if you listen to the lyrics like of the entire song that the father sings, it's a warning to Coraline that like we don't pick up because it's all happy, and it's technically you can misconstrue it as like a happy song, but in actuality it's a warning song. So it's very interesting, but it's also kind of eerie in the same.
It's
vibes.
Very eerie. And so as they eat dinner, Coraline has everything she wants. She wants gravy, she wants dessert, she wants mango smoothie, your favorite.
There's just an FYI, I absolutely hate mangoes.
He hates it.
I don't know why, it just tastes like gasoline to me.
That is so weird.
Anyways.
Okay. But basically, Coraline is having the time of her life. So as the night goes on, she's tucked into bed by her other parents. and she goes to sleep with like a smile on her face, and we see her wake up from what seemed like a dream because she's back in her room in her real reality.
Yeah.
And so just seeing like the whole her going through a small door into another world gave me total Alice in Wonderland vibes.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past the creators like, hey, it's probably based off Alice in Wonderland. It's like the misadventures of Alice in Wonderland.
It's more like Alice in Wonderland is like if you're tripping on LSD. This is more like the Alice in Wonderland if your house was haunted.
This is like if Tim Burton went into Alice in Wonderland, this is what he would see.
If he wrote Alice in Wonderland, this is how it would have gone.
Even though this movie wasn't directed by Tim Burton,
Right.
which is so mind-boggling. It's so
I know,
weird.
when I first watched it, it gave me like total Tim Burton vibes. But again, it's not.
Anyways, so she recounts the tale to her parents, who are obviously disinterested. So instead,
They don't even humor her.
Yeah, she just they just kind of brush it off, like, oh, that's nice, dear.
Yeah.
So she instead goes to meet her neighbors, the amazing Bobinski, who gives her a message from the circus mice saying, "Do not go through little door."
Yeah. And you see, like, he's a very eccentric character, and
Yeah.
he is trying to put together a mice show.
Yeah, a mouse circus.
Yeah.
I remember even the mom was like, "Oh, he's not drunk, he's eccentric." Or
Yeah.
whatever, and it was like really funny. Also, he likes to collect cheese and he eats beets, which
He really likes beets.
or was it radish? It was radish.
Beets.
Beets? I don't
Beets.
know. It was some kind of root vegetable.
And he uses the cheese to like
Train the mice. Yeah.
But from this scene, the main takeaway is that the circus mice says, "Do not go through a little door," and he doesn't know what that means.
Yeah.
But Coraline's like, "Oh."
Okay, so this is where I'm like, okay, girl, literally mice are telling you not to go through that little door. And they even call her the real name, which is kind of like a small
Coraline.
detail. Yeah, because up until this point, Bobinski is calling her Caroline.
Yeah, like even Wybie, when she first meets him, says, "Oh, Caroline's more of the normal name."
Yeah. So, I mean, the fact that little mice get her name right and are telling her don't go through little door, which is too coincidental to be a coincidence.
Yeah.
It's like, obviously, don't do it.
They know something that she doesn't know.
So basically, she's just kind of taking that as like a neither here nor there kind of situation. And she goes to meet Miss Spink and Forcible,
Who live downstairs. Mr. Bobinski lives upstairs, and Miss Spink and Forcible live downstairs.
Yeah. And basically in this scene, the biggest takeaway is that, well, first of all, they have dogs.
A lot of dogs.
A lot of dogs. And a lot of them are stuffed. And what is
That
it called?
was-
Taxidermied?
That was kind of weird. Like, okay, my grandpa, he has a stuffed rooster. And, okay, like, yeah, it's very weird, but I don't think I could stuff a dog.
Do you think, did your uncle love the rooster? Was it family?
Like my grandpa, I don't know. Maybe it was just because it was a beautiful rooster. I don't know, but I just don't know if I could stuff a dog because, you love them.
Yeah.
And they can't, and they're dead.
Yeah, I would not want my dogs to
It's
be
like a
stuffed
constant
on.
reminder.
Yeah. But they have a lot, so I guess they're kind of just used to it.
Yeah,
already.
it's decor for them.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's that. They also give her a tea reading, which is basically, for reference, it's basically when the little tea leaves at the end of the cup, if you it reads pictures sometimes, and if you can see the pictures, it can tell your fortune, which is really funny because I'm assuming Miss Spink is the short one.
Yeah.
She says that Coraline is in terrible danger based off of her cup reading. But Miss Forcible says that she will meet a tall, handsome beast in her future. And this is where my mind was blown, but I'll get into it when we actually reveal the secrets and whatever.
Okay, I also want to point out that Miss Spink and Forcible, they're actresses, or they were actresses. Now they're just old ladies.
They're like burlesque actresses.
They have like an English or Australian accent.
It's like, I guess, like an old American way speaking. It's like a very 1950s, like oh dear, you are
Yeah.
so beautiful.
And because when they were reading the tea leaf fortune, it gave me Harry Potter vibes to the divination class
Oh my god.
in Prisoner of Azkaban.
I didn't even think of that.
Like, it just hit me right now. I didn't even think about it when we were watching it. But as Professor Trelawney,
yeah.
and she approaches Harry and Ron, and they're like, and she tells Ron, "Oh, what does the cup say?" And Ron's like, "You're gonna suffer, but you're gonna be happy about it."
I remember in the books there like she was like, "Oh, good job, you did really well, blah blah blah, you get an A in that class." And yeah.
And it's funny because like in that show, like the tea leaf, or in that movie, the tea leaf, it was contrasting, right? It was like suffer but happy. And this one, it says that she's in danger, but then she'll meet a tall, handsome beast.
So it's really like up to interpretation. Also, I want to point out, based off the voices alone, she sounded exactly like the lady. I forget her name. I really don't remember the Hunger Games that much, but the lady who announces that.
Effie Trinket.
Yes, she's the one. Primrose Everdeen.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's what she reminds me of. Anyways, so that's that. She basically gets her fortune.
And Coraline, she's like, "Oh, okay, thanks." And she kind of sees how kind of like wacky they are, so she leaves.
Yeah. So afterwards, she talks with YB, who reveals he's never been inside the Pink Palace because his grandma's sister disappeared from there when they were really young.
And as she's coming outside of Miss Spinks and Forcible's apartment, it's super foggy, and you see YB's mask like in the background, and she sees him, so she like pretends like, "Oh, I don't see, I'm just going along my day," and she turns around and grabs him and is like, "Oh, it's the village stalker." So she wasn't wrong, like he is a little
that's
stalker-ish.
creepy. I mean, the fact that like you're just like have like this little like what is like a
Telescope
scuba
thing.
telescope thing, and like you're just looking through the fog. I'm like, that's creepy.
Yeah, and it kind of like you're spying like on a girl through the fog. It's weird.
And that thing can like also go downwards. Like, where is that pointing?
And he said, "Oh no, I'm just like looking at these slugs, blah blah blah." And he has the black cat from the beginning with him, and so yeah, he just talks story with Coraline, talks about the Pink Palace, why he's not allowed to go.
This is also when the black cat gets the nickname Wusspuss.
Oh yeah, because Coraline is saying, "Oh, he's not feral, he's just a wuss-puss."
Which also is like kind of a good name. Anyways, so later that night, Coraline goes back to the other world where her other parents are waiting for her. She meets the other YB, and together they go watch Mr. B and his mice perform. So this is actually one of my favorite scenes.
Really?
It's kind of interesting. I like the animation of the mice.
Okay, yeah.
Also, though, it's a little creepy. I think because like all of them are super in sync. It might just be because, production obviously makes more sense to do it that way. But they were so in sync. It kind of has that like weird, kind of like almost...
Is this real vibe?
Yeah, it's like a very cracky, like robotic kind of like gesture. So it made it feel very eerie, but at the same time, very fantastical.
And one thing about this scene is that when Coraline is introduced to this YB from this universe, her other mother specifically says, I thought that you would like him a lot more if he didn't talk." So she fixed him, and basically YB can't talk anymore.
Which is honestly like, I mean, that's kind of a red flag.
That's already kind of like, whoa, so what did she do? Did she like cut his throat? Did she like it's pretty dark that this adult did it to a child.
But also like the fact that Coraline's okay with that.
Yeah. Like for example, if like my mom or my other mother in a different universe brought you to our house and was like, "Oh, here's Austin. I thought you'd like him better if he didn't talk, so this Austin doesn't talk." I'd be like, that's weird.
Yeah. But also it kind of just shows the friendship between them. It's like, if you need a friend that doesn't talk at all, that kind of just says something about like, you shouldn't be friends at all. But whatever. Anyways.
So after they watch Mr. B and his mice perform, they're really excited and they really enjoyed the show and everything. So as Coraline goes to sleep, her mother, YB, and the other father are in her room tucking her in. So the next morning, she wakes up again in her reality and is, you can tell in her face, very disappointed.
Yeah.
And so once again, she recounts her dreams to her parents, and they only half listen to her.
Yeah. So this is also the scene when like they're just turning in the catalog. So they just technically finished all of the work that they were kind of putting in and whatever. So if everything goes well today, like apparently they're going to celebrate.
Yeah. So like this whole day is just kind of not going to Coraline's liking, basically. And so she spends the day with her mom and compares her real mom to her other mom, trying to make her real mom feel bad.
Yeah.
And so we also find out that her real mom locked the door to the little door because she thought that it'd make Coraline feel a little safer.
Yeah.
So even the mom is having weird vibes from these dreams and like these stories, even though she seems like she's only half listening.
But see, that's the thing, right? It shows that like her mom is technically listening to her. It's just that she's not really like, she's not believing her, I think.
Yeah.
So.
And like, would you believe like a child, like, you know, it's just, you think that they're just making up things with their imagination.
Yeah. I mean, how old is Coraline? Like 11?
Yeah, she seems like around middle school age.
You think she'd be like over imaginary friends by then?
Yeah. Yeah, but then again, her parents, like, she's an only child. She doesn't have any friends yet. They just moved, so maybe her parents think she's just having an active imagination.
True. That makes sense.
But I thought it was like, or when the mom says that, oh, I locked the door, Coraline is like, why? That was the only place like that made me happy. Like, I don't feel scared, or that place isn't dangerous to me.
Yeah. I mean, already a red flag. It's like,
yeah.
You feel safer in another reality is a little kind of scary. So, this is kind of the next scene. The next scene we show, basically Coraline's mom leaves
her at the house to go grocery shopping, and this is kind of important because during that day they were uniform shopping for Coraline's new school, and Coraline really wanted these colorful gloves, but the mom was like, put it back, you know, if everything goes well, maybe we can get it, whatever. But she tells Coraline no, and Coraline takes it to heart. So as her mom leaves, she asks Coraline, oh, is there anything I can get you? And Coraline was like, those mittens would have been nice. And her mom's just like, okay, I won't be long.
So, I mean, she doesn't specifically say she's going to get the gloves, but, you know, a good mother. This is another, so basically Coraline in the next scene, she takes it for granted that she's alone in the house. She's going to go see the other mother's home.
Yeah.
So this is starting to form my theory where all of the rest of the scene is just her dream. Everything leading to the end of the movie is all just a dream.
Like she took a nap.
Yes, because the only time she could enter the other world is when she was sleeping, right?
Right.
In the middle of the night. Technically, I don't know if she's sleeping or not. I mean, of course, like this movie's gonna say like, oh yeah, she was definitely awake and blah blah blah.
Right.
But realistically, she woke up in her bed the next morning. She didn't go through a portal, so that means that she was probably dreaming this entire time.
Okay, B, let's come back to this theory after we wrap everything up.
Yeah.
This is so interesting. My mind is kind of like getting blown. But before that happens, let's finish this so everyone can have a reference, like know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Because I want to hear more about this.
Yeah, so for the next scene, basically she goes into the world and basically like, oh yeah, this world does exist. This is real. I wasn't dreaming and whatever.
And we see that other mother made her clothes, and so Coraline changes into that. And this is also where she meets YB's cat, the black cat, who she initially called Wuspus.
Yeah.
And in this reality, it's interesting because he can talk to her, and she's like, oh, you're just something made up, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, no, I'm the real me, just like you're the real you.
Which explains why he didn't have the buttons in his eyes.
Yeah, which is important. He didn't have buttons for his eyes. and he says that this dream world is not what it seems, and runs off.
So, funny story, like when I first heard him talk and the way he's like, he looks, I automatically got that like fox guy from Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Yeah.
That episode where there's the fox and like the cat.
Yeah.
And they're like lovers or something.
Yeah.
And I just remember the scene of them, like this episode is ending and they're on a train holding each other.
Yeah, and he has that like deep voice, like it's
and
a
that
very
pointed face.
Yeah, that's what he reminded me of. I was like, oh my god, he's the fox from Courage. Anyways,
so in this dream time, Coraline goes to visit the other Miss Spink and Forcibles, where she watches their show, where she's enthralled and amazed. Basically, this scene is so entertaining because she goes downstairs to their apartment and it's set up as a theater. Her and YB go together.
Yeah.
And they have front row seats and they see Miss Spink playing a mermaid. And she's singing about like being a siren of the sea. And when it's Miss Forcible's turn to come on, she's Venus
de Milo. Yeah, the famous painting.
And oh my god, like her outfit, guys, like when I mean, all for it, you know, like body positivity, everything. But I was like, damn.
It was revealing.
It was revealing.
Yeah.
That's it. It was very revealing.
But it was so cool. I mean, the entire presentation of it, I think the thing I liked about it, this is probably my favorite scene in the movie, by the way. Like the thing I liked about it is that you're led to believe that they just sabotaged each other's presentation in the first act, and then the second act comes out and you realize that it's not. Well, it could have been like a sabotage thing, but they come out together on this tightrope.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a swing.
Planks.
It was like planks, and then they're gonna swing. But then right before they jump and catch the swings, they like unzip their old body, like their old
woman bodies.
Yeah, and then they reveal their younger selves, which is so cool.
If only we could do that IRL.
Oh my god! I mean, I don't want to get younger. I just want to look
hotter.
I
know. We already look young as it is.
Yeah.
Like, guys, we could still pass as like late high school or early college.
We look like the definition of what American TV dramas think of what high schoolers look like.
Right. We're 23, but we could still play a 16-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, this is probably my favorite scene in the movie.
It was very entertaining, and the whole delivery was
mesmerizing.
Yeah, enchanting. And even Coraline was all caught up in it. And she was even like caught by surprise when they got into their younger selves, and they even pulled her onto the
stage.
Yeah, the stage.
Yeah. And then they put her in the act, and it was very enthralling. It was
very dreamlike, though.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that Coraline could have been able to balance on their hand or anything, but she's going along with it, so it does seem very dreamlike.
Yeah. So
afterwards, when she goes back home, her and YB, they go back to inside the house.
Yeah.
And where the other mother and the other father are waiting for her, and she tells her other parents there that she really enjoyed it, and they tell her that she can stay with them in this world. That if this is what she wants, where she's so happy, she can. But she has to do one thing. She has to trade her eyes for buttons.
Oh my god.
And so when her parents say trade her eyes for buttons, it shows like two buttons in like a gift box kind of thing.
Yeah.
And a needle. Was a needle in it?
Yeah, there was a needle inside of it.
So it's just like, okay, it would have been okay if just the two buttons were in there. It's like, okay, that's cool. But putting a needle in there seemed pretty dark, because all I'm thinking about, not to get disturbing everyone, but is a needle going in my eye.
Yeah, that's terrifying. Wait, so logistically, is she pulling the eyes out and then putting the buttons in? Or is she just putting the buttons over the eyes?
I feel like she takes out the eyeballs, sews the eyelids together and then puts the buttons on.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry if that was graphic, everyone, but that's just how I imagined it.
Oh my god.
And even the other dad, like they're sitting at the table and the other parents, they're just smiling and they're like so happy to have her there. And the other father says, "It's so sharp, you won't feel a thing." Another mother gets mad.
I mean, honestly, like that alone is kind of terrifying.
Yeah, so sharp, you won't feel a thing. That's what doctors say, or like whatever. Oh, you won't feel a thing. And it's like, ow, that hurt.
I feel like if you just said like you won't feel a thing, that's better than saying it's so sharp you won't feel a thing. I'm like, boy, don't tell him you're gonna penetrate me like that. That's terrifying in more ways than one.
So Coraline, as much as she likes this other world, she is pretty creeped out and kind of horrified about this whole button situation, especially being like the other mother's like, black buttons are traditional, but you can have pink, vermilion, blah blah blah. But Coraline, the other mother's trying to lighten the mood.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're just gonna trade your eyes for buttons. But Coraline, she's just like, ooh, I'm pretty creeped out. So she tries to escape by going back to sleep. And she tells herself, go to sleep, go to sleep. And so she does. And as she wakes up, she's so excited, but she realizes it didn't work.
Yeah. So this now begs the question, did she actually fall asleep? Or did she just like one of those things where you're so excited and anticipated you just don't fall asleep at all?
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm almost thinking like she probably just probably didn't fall asleep at all.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was her, I'd be too anxious. I'd be like, no, hell no.
I'd be like scared to close my eyes. What if they stole my eyes while I'm sleeping?
I mean, that's the best way to do it, I guess. Already half the job is done. Your eyes are already closed. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so she realizes it doesn't work. So she then goes into the garden and she runs into the black cat, as you will. Where he says that the other mother only made parts of the world, of the other worlds that would impress Coraline, and maybe wants to eat her, and then just leaves.
He's very cryptic.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't come forth and say anything, because as she leaves the house, she's trying to run away from the house because she realizes it's scary and it's dangerous.
Yeah.
So she tries to escape out into the forest. But all she is seeing is white.
Yeah.
Like literally, it goes from forest to just like a white surrounding.
Yeah, like everything around her is decomposing, basically.
Yeah, it's like not digitalized.
Yeah.
Like the end of a simulation.
It hasn't rendered yet. So basically what happens is she leaves the house, goes through the unrendered areas, and then she ends up back into the house again.
Yeah, and the black cat says, oh, it's a small world here.
Yeah.
But I just want to point out, so this black cat he shows up in her dream and everything, and it seems like he can cross dimensions.
Yeah.
Because he's in her reality, but he's also fully present in this dream world.
Mm-hmm.
So I just think it's super interesting. Why is it that this black cat can transcend dimensions?
Well, he said that us cats are smarter than you humans or whatever. But I feel like, I don't know. Because Coraline doesn't close the door behind her when she enters the worlds, right? So I feel like whenever she enters the worlds, that's when he goes in.
But I also think black cats, they're known for their affinity to magic. Sabrina Teenage Witch, may I reference that? Even Hocus Pocus, and even in Kiki's Delivery Service, all these magical movies, the black cats are there.
Yeah.
So what if he just has an affinity for these different worlds, and because he's a black cat, he can transcend them?
I mean, you think about it, right? The other mother is technically a witch.
Right.
So
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the story. As they're coming back, or they're near the house, the cat attacks a rat because it's sounding an alarm. That's what he says. I don't like rats most of the time.
Yeah.
So he kind of did her a favor.
Yeah, so basically for context, it was one of the circus mice from Bobinski Circus or whatever, but he killed it. And what happened was, when he killed it, the sand poured out of its mouth and became a rat. Which is why I feel like the sand is very important in this case. I think it's almost kind of like simulating, like, you know, like the Sandman, like dreams.
Right.
So, because whatever is filled with sand turns into what she wants.
Right.
So basically, even the doll itself is like, it's a spy, right?
Right.
But it's gonna turn into whatever Coraline wants to see. And since Coraline wants to see, like, well, I guess it's more like what Coraline can see. So it's like she's gonna see herself. Obviously, she's gonna bring it along with her because it's creepy,
Right.
Or it's interesting.
So Coraline goes back to the house to escape through the little door because she realizes that's her way to get home. That's how she got to this world. That's how she'll get home. But she realizes that it's blocked off and is confronted by her other mother. And Coraline tells her that she wants to go back to her real world with her real parents. And this angers the other mother, who then changes into a different form and comes after her and like scolds her.
So this is where my like little tidbit of reference comes back in from the sisters. So when we obviously know the short one, I forget her name.
Miss Spink.
Miss Spink. She said that she's in terrible danger, which is obvious. Like, it's obvious, you know?
Right.
That's obvious to us as audience. But what's like really key here, and I didn't pick up on this when I first watched it, nor did I watch the second or third time I watched it. But what's the other one?
Miss Forcible.
Miss Forcible says you'll meet a tall, dark beast. And this is when I was thinking, okay, well, she's making it happy, but actually what she's referring to is the other mother being a tall, dark beast.
In her true form. Oh my gosh.
And I was just like, oh my god, I didn't put it together until now.
Because, you know, of course you only like pay attention to the, you're in danger.
Yeah.
And you just think Miss Forcible is talking nonsense. Like, a tall dark beast.
Yeah.
What is that?
Because I was thinking, like, you know, I feel like both of them should be right because they're on equal terms. So I was like wondering why would she say that it's like you're gonna meet a tall dark beast or a tall dark? I heard like man, but I guess not. It was like a beast.
Beast.
So I was just thinking, why is that so important? Then I was like, wait, tall dark beast. That makes more sense now.
Yeah.
But she made it in a good thing, which is why she's wrong. But you know.
Yeah. Also, I thought this scene was pretty funny because the other mother, she tells Coraline, "I'm going to count to 3." Like, for you to like apologize and be a good girl again. And that kind of made me think of my own mom doing this. My mom, which I don't know, like she would either count up or down, but if she ever finished counting, then that mean me and my siblings would get a can of whoop ass.
Oh, my mom never counted. My mom was just like spatula in hand. She's like, what did you say?
My mom would be like 3, 2, and like we would, whatever we were doing, it stopped by the time she finished counting, because we know if that number ever went to 0 or to like 3 or like whatever final number, we were in a world of pain. Lickens, which is the term we use for discipline here. But yeah, so I was just kind of funny, and Coraline's like looking the other mother straight in the eyes and like, no, if I did that to my mom, I would probably get like, my mom had a wooden spoon. You know? She'd hit my knuckles like, what? You want to try that again?
Oh, I got like back, like shoulder. But I mean, to be fair, that was your real mom. If your other mother did that, like, of course you're gonna say no.
If like I was going in this other world and this other mom was trying to discipline me, you know, like in like elementary, middle school age, I'd be like, no. I already get that enough in the real world. Mm-hmm. This is supposed to be the good world. No lickens.
I thought you were supposed to be a nice mom.
Yeah, you were acting the part earlier, so keep playing the part. But so as Coraline tests the mother's patience, and so the mother finishes counting, grabs Coraline, and throws her into a mirror in the hallway.
Yeah.
And instead of, crashing into the mirror, she's transported to the other side of the mirror.
Yeah.
Where she's kind of in this abandoned
bedroom.
Broken bedroom.
Yeah.
Where she meets 3 little ghost children.
With buttons for eyes. So I also want to point out, like, This is just something like I felt really uncomfortable. Did you see how she grabbed Coraline when she like grabbed
I
her?
didn't.
She grabbed her by the nose and the eyes.
Oh, yes.
I didn't even know. I was like, I saw them like go like that. I was just like,
She puts her fingers in her nose, right?
Yeah, and her nose. I think it might have been the eyes too, but I could be wrong. But it was like definitely like grabbing the face, and I was just like, oh my god, that's torture.
That must have hurt too, because the other mother had like long metallic fingers.
Yeah.
And wow, like that's like not a loving the loving mother part she's playing anymore.
But anyways,
so back to these three ghost children. They tell Coraline that they too enjoyed the world that the beldam gave them because
the beldam is the other mother.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So the beldam gave them because she used the dolls to see how unhappy they were in the real world. So basically, that the other mother has done this before.
Yeah.
She's done this 3 times with these 3 ghost children.
Possibly more if like the other children escaped as well.
She, so Coraline's doll, the one that we see that she took everywhere with her and who basically led her to this other world, was a tool of the other mother to spy on Coraline. She saw how unhappy she was with her parents, how bored she was. So she took advantage of this unhappy child and basically lured her in with all this love and attention and everything. So they really enjoyed the company of the other mother, so they allowed her to sew buttons on their eyes.
Yeah.
They gave in to the temptation, and afterwards the other mother abandoned them in the mirror.
Yeah.
So they were pretty much betrayed and used, which is so sad because you see that these are tiny children.
Yeah.
Like they can't be like more than 5 or 6 or 7.
Yeah, they're definitely younger than Coraline.
Yeah.
So sucks for them.
But it's just super sad because you can definitely see the woe is me.
Yeah.
I was gonna say in their eyes, but they don't have eyes. They have buttons.
Yeah. I also want to say that this scene also thoroughly creeped me out because they're like not even just like speaking to her. They're like, oh, our other mother,
and
blah, blah, blah.
And I don't know if I still hear like a smidge of like love with the term mother.
Yeah.
Or like admiration.
Well, they never called her the other mother, right? They called her the beldam.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it was just
beldam.
like she was no longer a mother.
Yeah. Like they specifically refer to her as the beldam.
Also, I just want to point out, I did a little bit of research. Beldam is actually of French and English origin. I guess it's a merged word. It means the witch. So.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So, but if you break it down, belle in French means beautiful, and dame is like a term for an old woman. So it's kind of interesting because the beldam will take the form of the beautiful creature,
right?
In order to like lure the children in,
right? And what better person to use to lure them in than with their own mother?
Yeah. So I mean, it's all coming together now. It's making sense.
So as the 3 ghost children are telling Coraline their tales of how they went through the same thing as she did and suffered more consequences, they also ask her to find their eyes for them, to release them from the beldam's grasp.
Yeah.
Because she has their eyes, she has their souls.
Yeah.
I guess that term that people say, eyes are a window to the soul.
Yeah.
This movie took it pretty literally.
I wonder if that's like the author's original intent, and that's what he went off of. It's like the eyes are the windows to the soul. Okay, I have a movie to suggest to you guys.
I just realized that now as I said it.
Me too.
I totally didn't even catch that. But so Coraline, she wants to help them. So she's like, okay, I'll help you guys.
Yeah. So the next scene, basically, a pair of hands come out of the mirror.
Oh, yeah.
Of the wall, I guess. And then they grab Coraline. Basically, it's YB. And
the other YB.
The other YB. And he is trying to save her. But what we notice is that YB's face is
sewn into a smile. Very Joker-like.
it's so creepy.
It's oh my god.
It's like the Kuchi Sake whatever how you pronounce it. It's basically a Japanese folklore. Long story short, lady has like slits up to her face
into a forever smile.
Yeah, and she's haunting children. Anyways, she unties his face obviously, and then
which is so weird because this is a kids movie and his smile was held in place by two threading knots.
Yeah.
And all she does is she unties it, and I would be horrified to touch. Like if your face was sewn like that, I wouldn't. Oh, I would be so horrified to even touch it.
I know. I'm just wondering how in the real world that would happen. I guess in a kids show it makes more sense.
Yeah, in this claymated produced movie, but just thinking of the other the Beldam sewed the other YB's face like that.
Yeah.
Dark.
It's real dark. Anyways, he leads her to the mini door, the small door in the wall.
He tries to help her escape.
Yeah, and she wants to help him escape as well, but he can't because he's forever bound to this world. So he shoves her into the door basically.
After showing her that his hand is coming apart into sand as well.
Yeah.
He's disintegrating into sand.
Yeah. And right before the Beldam can get her, YB closes the door on her and then she runs to the other side, basically.
Yeah, she escapes back to her world.
And locks the door. So the next scene, she's happy because she escaped the Beldam.
Yeah, she just escaped death and danger, but she realizes that her house is very quiet. She doesn't hear typing. She doesn't hear her parents arguing. And she sees that her mother left the groceries that she went to leave for on the table.
Yeah.
So as she checks to see the groceries, she realizes that there's a lot of bugs in it. So basically the food has been out for a while.
Yeah.
Which is very unlike her mom.
And she knows that her parents are home because she sees the car in the driveway. So obviously both of the parents are home already.
So she concludes that they're missing.
Yeah. So she can't find them. She goes back to Miss Forcible and Spanx. And she's basically telling him yeah, I can't find my parents. I'm sad.
Yeah, did you see them? Because apparently the parents are supposed to give the two older ladies a ride to the theater or to a play.
Right. I forgot that part.
Even the older ladies were upset. They were like, "Oh no, where did your parents go? We need our ride. We've been planning this forever."
So instead of them going to the theater, they make her a talisman out of saltwater taffy.
Yeah. And it's this triangular turquoise looking stone that has a hollowed out middle.
Yeah. So for context, it kind of looks like an Illuminati.
Very much it looks like an Illuminati sign. So they gift her that, and Coraline doesn't think it's going to help her, but she takes it anyway.
Yeah.
So as she goes back to her house, she makes dolls of her parents, out of pillows and whatnot. And she starts to cry herself to sleep because she misses her parents. And this part really stood out to me because Coraline, she used to complain about her parents. And she even made up or fell into a world where her parents were better than what they actually were.
Yeah.
And in this scene where she's crying herself to sleep, you realize how much she appreciates her parents, but she didn't realize it until they're gone.
It's so sad. It actually kind of broke my heart a little bit.
Yeah, because she is ultimately this young girl who just wants her parents back, but she doesn't know where they went.
Yeah. So cut to the middle of the night. We see that the black cat wakes her up. And obviously he can't talk, so he's just
not in her real world.
Yeah, so he's just doing yes or no, nods and shakes. And she's like, "Do you know where my parents are?" And he's just like, "Yes." Well, nods yes.
Yeah, Austin nodded.
Yeah. And then she's like, "We have to go back to the other world, don't we?" And he's like, "Yes." And
actually, he takes her to a mirror in the hallway of the real world.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
So after waking her up and she asks him, "Oh, do you know where my parents are?" He says yes, and basically takes her down a hallway from her room, and she sees her parents are in the mirror and they're freezing inside, but they're also trapped, and the mother spells help.
Help us. That's honestly, that was kind of scary for me.
Can you imagine like seeing your parents. Okay, your parents are missing, and then you look into a random mirror at home, and you see your parents are stuck there, and you're just like, how the hell did they get in there? And you're just like, oh my god, like if your parents got stuck, how can you save them?
I know. Anyways, so then we cut to the scene. She's like, yeah, I have to go back for them. Like, I have to save my parents. So we see her going into the door, and the black cat is basically saying, you know, she's leading you right into her trap.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And she's like, well, I have to do this. These are my parents.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not leaving them. Like, shit.
And he's just like, he tells her, well, you know, she's not going to fight fair. So if you do see her, and if you're ever in a situation, play a game with her. She can't resist games, which is true because every time that Coraline has gone into the dream world or like the other universe, the other mother always wants to play a game, whether it's hide and seek or
basically any
type of game. The Beldam really enjoys games.
Yeah. Also, I want to point like a little like tidbit characterization. Whenever Coraline or anybody mentions games in the other world, the mom will always like click her fingers on the table.
Oh yeah, like she'll roll her fingers.
Yeah. So that's a signal to know that she's interested.
Yeah, she's heard you.
Yeah.
So summoning like all of her bravery, Coraline goes back to the other world to demand for her parents back, and she takes the black cat's advice and plays a game with her in order to defeat her. So when she enters the new world, she's trapped by the Beldam, who steals the key. Remember, this is the only key for the portal door.
Yeah.
And the Beldam locks the door and swallows the key to prevent Coraline from leaving. So basically, Coraline just kind of screwed herself. So once she confronts the Beldam, Coraline wagers that if she can find the eyes of the ghost children and her parents, the Beldam must let them go. So she was a quick thinker in this situation.
Yeah.
She knew she had to play a game, and so she was like, "You like hide and seek? How about I go like hunting for something, like a scavenger hunt?"
Yeah.
So, but if Coraline fails, then she'll let the Beldam sew buttons into her eyes.
And let her quote unquote, love her.
Yeah. So, of course, the Beldam happily accepts the challenge and disappears after giving Coraline a hint that the eyes are in each of the 3 wonders that she created for Coraline and hidden in plain sight.
It's kind of creepy and kind of eerie, but it kind of sets the mood where like obviously she has to go out into the ventures like that her other mother created for her, just to realize that it's only, well, 1, it's only a dream, and 2, like it's not real.
Yeah, like these perfect places that she loves so much, they're too good to be true.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. I guess like if you want to break this down into like real life situations, it's too good to be true, but at the same time, you know, you shouldn't be glorifying this like dream because it's not feasible.
Like it's blinding you in a sense. It's keeping you naive and like kind of simple-minded.
Oh my god, that's why she's finding the eyes in them. Because it's blinding her from reality.
So she needs her eyes to see it for what they really are.
Oh my god, we're coming through conclusions. This is live, guys. We're coming through revelations. Michelle is contemplating life. She's existential crisising right now.
Head in my hands. I cannot. Okay, let's just finish this up so we can talk about all of this. So,
Coraline goes into the garden as the first eye. Basically, or to find the first eye.
She's finding the eyes of the ghost children.
Yeah. So she gets attacked by the wildflower. She uses her clippers.
Her weed clippers.
Yeah, to like kill them off. And then the bees attack her.
Of course, the bees attack her.
The bees attack her and they try to take the talisman away from her.
Oh yeah, remember? So as she entered this new world, she took the talisman with her from the one that she got from her neighbors.
Yeah, and basically she threw her bag at them, and they're like, she's like, why? What the fuck did the bees want to take this from me?
Yeah.
So she looks through the talisman, and she realizes that everything is blacked out except for the eyes. So she can see where the eye is.
So this is like a location device for her. This is like God sent.
Yeah, but then the jump scares start occurring now, and as soon as you see the eyes, like they come up, it's just like, like as soon as you see like the eye, like she like looks up, and there's a giant praying mantis just like slamming, like,
trying to kill her, basically.
It was terrifying.
Yeah, Austin and his jump scares. We were sitting right next to him, and I look over, and like there's no big jump. It's just like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, I didn't big jump in this one. I did big jump in Halloween Town though.
Yeah. No, Hocus Pocus.
Oh, the Hocus Pocus?
Yeah.
All of them probably.
So, back to the garden scene. She uses a talisman from her neighbors, and she realizes that her other father, who's on the praying mantis, has the eyes in his hands, and she tries to take it. But this whole time, her other father is saying, I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt you, Coraline. Other mother is forcing me to do this. Mm-hmm. She's forcing me. And like you can hear like the sadness in his voice.
Yeah, and he's talking like very like Barney the dinosaur went through like a blender.
Yeah. Oh, Coraline.
I don't want to hurt you.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So basically, in an act of heroism, her father rips the eye from the lever, and he throws it at her and gives it to her. Basically.
As he falls down a bridge, basically to his death, as he disintegrates into sand.
Yeah. So she gets the first eye.
So yeah, one of the children's eyes are saved.
Yeah.
So she's like, okay, with this talisman, I can do this. Mm-hmm. So she goes downstairs to one of the other wonders that the other mother created for her, to Miss Forcible and Spink's apartment, and she uses her talisman to look around and see that the other eyes are in the hands of other Miss Forcible and Spink, who are in the clam prop from their play. And she opens it, and as she opens it, she's attacked by the Miss Forcible and Miss Spink, and like they're in like this kind of stuff, but they're not like fully fleshed out. They're like this disintegrated, gooey version.
So this is like the metaphor that I kind of liked about it. So they're in saltwater taffy, basically, and they're the saltwater taffy that's like
they are.
Yeah, that's why they're so stretchy.
Right.
So yeah, and it like in like a quick like reflex or whatever, she shines the light, and she basically just throws the flashlight at the dog bats or whatever, and then they like let go of it as they get eaten by the dogs. But yeah, I don't know, the graphics were really cool in that part.
Yeah. So okay, so if the eyes in this case were the pearl in the clam, mm-hmm. what's like the visual, like the eye reference that this was supposed to be, you think?
What do you mean?
Like, you know how like the eyes are supposed to like help her see, like see what this world is for, like what this world really is. Mm-hmm. Because remember how we said she was blinded by the grandeur of it? Do you think there's any reason, like, if you know how like the eyes were like on the control machine for the dad,
right?
Do you think like the form that it took had any purpose?
I don't know. I feel like honestly, like the garden was like kind of a stretch, like where it was as far as like in the garden. I feel like the pearl itself, because it was like interwoven with the women, the sisters or whatever, it kind of like felt like that scheme. Oh, you know what? Maybe, okay, it might be a really big stretch.
Okay.
But she interacted with the things that had the eyes on it, right? Because she was sitting on the praying mantis when she was running through the garden,
right?
And then she was like getting
in the show.
Yeah, she was in the show, and even Bobinski and her. Well, later on the scene, like she was like interacting with him as well.
Right.
So each of those things, she was interacting with it. So when they're like, when she was trying to grab it, she has to see them for what they are, which is not real. So that's why she's taking the eyes from them.
Oh, okay. Okay, see, like that's kind of what I was mentioning. Okay, that makes sense.
Again, it's a stretch, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's our analysis. We can say what we want.
Yeah.
But basically, once she grabs the second pair of eyes, the world begins
To crumble.
crumble. So I failed to mention that in the garden, when after she took the first pair of eyes, the garden crumbled back into sand and turned white,
Yeah.
just like the edge of like that last dream she had where she was walking around and it went from the forest to white and then she was back home.
Yeah, it looked kind of like, for a visual, it looked like concrete, basically.
Yeah, and it kind of was like, because she saw this wonder for what it really was, it became obsolete.
Mm-hmm.
It became like it was useless to the beldam.
Yeah.
So as Coraline has the second pair of eyes, she heads up. Oh, she also realized that she's running out of time.
Yeah.
Because she's outside, so she sees that the big moon in the sky is being eclipsed by a button shadow.
Creepy AF. But,
Yeah.
We also see that the other YB is no more. His skin is hanging from a flagpole.
Skin is on a flagpole.
Which is terrifying as a visual. Thank God it's a cartoon and not real.
Oh my
because
God.
That would be terrifying to look at.
Yeah.
But he's hanging on a flagpole, basically like dead. And so she goes into Bobinsky's lair. It's the next, or attic, I guess. And
To find the final set of eyes.
Yeah.
But Mr. B and his mice try to attack her and they run away with the last pair of eyes.
Yeah.
So in a desperate attempt to stop them, she throws her talisman and all of them fall down the balcony.
yeah, which I remember when we were watching the movie yesterday, as she threw the talisman, you like rolled your eyes, like, why would she do that?
I literally was like, what an idiot. That is your tool. You should have thrown your weed cutters. You should have thrown your hat. Throw your shoe. Why the heck would you throw this only thing that helps you in this world?
Yeah, but I mean, luck came for her, and the cat finds the mouse and kills it.
Yeah, after like they all fall down the balcony, and she's like in the grass, and she's like, she realizes how dumb that was, and she's like, kind of woe is me.
Yeah.
She's like defeated. She feels defeated.
Yeah.
And then out of nowhere, the black cat has a rat in his mouth, and that rat has the last set of eyes.
Yeah. So luckily for her, the black cat is not unlucky.
Yeah.
When it crossed her path, it was very lucky.
It was very lucky.
And she found all 3 eyes.
But she realizes that she's out of time and still doesn't know where her parents are. Because remember, the deal she made was she'll find all 3 sets of eyes and her parents.
Yeah. So quick, in a desperate attempt, the world is crumbling around
Yeah,
her.
like everything is turning white and obsolete.
Yeah, so she grabs the cat, runs into the house right before the world crumbles.
Yeah.
And she sees her mother in the parlor,
The other mother.
yeah, the other mother inside the living room. And
Confronts her.
yeah.
And she knows that she has to trick the beldam from, like, to keep the time going.
Yeah, like the eyes are whispering to her, like, "Hey, just because you win the game, she's still gonna prevent you from leaving.
She's not going to fight fair.
Yeah.
So you need to not fight fair either.
Yeah.
Be creative.
This is where her creative thinking came real handy.
Yeah. So as the other mother, who's in like her beast form, I mean, that makes it sound cool, like she's in Super Saiyan form. No, she's in her spider-like thin form.
Her skin is cracked. It's terrifying.
Yeah, like porcelain. And so they're all in the living room, and Coraline decides to play like some mind game with her.
Yeah.
And she says, "Oh, but I do know where my parents are. They're behind that door. I know they are. I know 100% they are."
Mm-hmm.
And the beldam, she looks at Coraline like,
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot. Like, they are not. And so Coraline is like, "Go ahead and open it. I can promise you that they'll be there." And the other mother just like shakes her head, and she's like, "Oh, really?" So she grabs the key
Yeah, she like chokes, she like coughs it up.
And she unlocks the door and opens it and is like, "You're wrong, Coraline."
You sound exactly like her. That was terrifying.
Did I give you chicken skin?
It kind of did, actually.
And I was just so you guys can have for a reference. I was pretending I had a needle in my hand, and it was like coming for Austin.
Yeah.
But so basically, she's like, "You're wrong, Coraline," and basically has the needle ready to put buttons in her eyes, and so in the I forgot to mention that while the other mother was checking the door, the black cat shows Coraline that her parents are stuck in the snow globe right next to them.
Yeah.
So here, when the other mother grabs the button and needle to sew Coraline's eyes, Coraline throws the black cat at her, and he scratches off her button eyes, blinding her.
Yeah.
So
this is a dick move on Coraline.
yeah, basically this cat helps her, and she throws the cat at the other mother for him to like do something.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I understand because when she first gets introduced to the black cat being able to talk, he says that the other mother hates cats.
Yeah.
But I get her reasoning behind it, but like seriously, the guy just helped you,
and he didn't even know you were gonna throw him.
Dude, like throw a snow globe. There's like 6 of them.
Yeah.
Just like grab snow globes and just start throwing at her, and then just like run to the door. But anyways, she gets distracted, she gets blinded, and the other mother basically just collapses the room into a giant spider web.
Yeah, she's super angry and loses control of the reality that she made for Coraline. And as the world disintegrates, Coraline realizes that she's in the middle of a web. So the black cat says her web is unwinding, which is metaphorical and literal in this sense.
Yeah. So Coraline basically is just trying to get out. So the other mother jumps towards Coraline, blind still yet, and Coraline just like runs up she basically climbs the spider webs.
But as she climbs, she's putting vibrations on the web, which makes it easy for the other mother to find her.
Yeah.
So it's scary because the other mother, who's like in this spider form, is crawling up to Coraline as Coraline desperately tries to reach the door. And like, can you imagine if you were climbing up and something like that was following you?
Yeah, I don't even know if I could outrun it, honestly.
It's 8 legs versus 2, come on.
Yeah. So she luckily escapes the mom. She locks the door behind her, and
but as she locks the door, like she accidentally cuts off the other mother's hand, like as she slams the door, and it looks like Coraline won't be able to close the door until the spirits of the 3 ghost children help her close it.
Yeah.
Which ends up cutting off the other mother's hand.
Yeah. Also, like, I just want to point out, where were these spirits when they're trying to escape the other mother? Like, come on. But anyways, they help her escape. The other mother's hand has come off. She locks the door on the one side, but she still has to run to the other side of the tunnel to get to her house. So she's crawling.
Literally in the in-between.
Yeah.
Not for like a Stranger Things reference. Like
she's in like purgatory.
Yeah, she's in purgatory.
So she's like running, and then this is part where it got really suspenseful and scary for me, because the door, like all you hear is just like her, like, every single time the other mother slams, like the door gets closer to Coraline. So she's like knock, 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 and then you just see like the door coming right towards her.
Yeah.
So Coraline quickly closes the door, locks the door, and then keeps
from
the key.
her reality.
Yeah. And basically she saves the parents.
Yeah, so she returns to her world, and she hears her parents entering through the door with snow and ice on them.
Yeah.
Which makes you think, oh, they just came out of the snow globe. But as Coraline like exclaims how she's happy to see them alive and well, they're like taken aback and surprised because they don't know what she's talking about. And she says, well, what do you mean? You guys have like the snow and ice on you. And as they turn around, you see it's literally melting off of them.
Yeah. So it's funny because we're led to believe that the parents knew that they were being abducted and they needed Coraline's help from the time they were in the mirror. But then I guess like the memories, or maybe there wasn't any memories because it was a dream. You know, they come to her and they're like, she's like, oh my God, our daughter's going crazy.
Yeah.
But
so like they literally look at her and they're saying, what are you talking about? And walk away.
Yeah.
And Coraline's kind of like, what just happened? So later that night, the black cat comes to her window and she thanks him for all his help. And he's like begrudgingly like, you're welcome. And she's like, I'm sorry I threw you at her. But, you know, it all worked out. So she later dreams about the 3 children that she saved. And they thank her for saving their souls, but warns her that she's still not safe. And can you believe, like, if you did all that work, you literally almost died and you're still in danger. Like, it's a nightmare, never ending.
Also, I just want to point out that the scene is beautiful. It's Van Gogh's Starry Night scene.
Oh yeah,
and
with purple and orange, I think.
Yeah, it was like the ghosts of the children are like the angels now, and they're gold. Yeah,
they're like bronze like material.
Yeah, and they're beautiful, and they're just like. I like the only part that I remember specifically was like the taller girl. She was like, you're in terrible danger, girl. And I was just like, oh my God, so sassy.
and Coraline, you can see like she's very sad and like distraught. She's like, after all that, I'm still in danger. But they all hug her and reassure Coraline that she is lucky, for she's still alive.
That was still, what is it?
Living.
Yeah. So she realizes it's a dream. She wakes up and she's like, I gotta get rid of this key.
Which she has around her neck. She kept as a necklace.
And so she's like, okay, I need to hide this key somewhere that their mother can never get to it.
Yeah.
So she's like, she automatically thinks, okay, what do I know? The well.
The well that she was looking for in the beginning and found, and in the beginning, she realized it's very deep.
Yeah, YB says like if you sink down there, it'll. What did
he said that if you were to look at the sky from inside there, you would see the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, she's running to the well. The claw is following her.
Yeah, and she doesn't know it. Yeah, so she tries. So she's going off into the forest to get rid of it, and she doesn't know that the hand is following her. So she leaves her house to get rid of the key and throw it down the well while singing her dad's song. And it's just like this tune that he has.
Pretty, pretty girl. Something, something.
Yeah, but it's like the song that he sings in the beginning.
Yeah.
And as she's about to dump the key, the beldam's hand attacks her, preventing her from doing so because it's on a mission to get that key. So as she's struggling with the hand, she's saved by YB, who crushes the hand with the stone.
Yeah.
And so after like that happens, they wrap the hand pieces, the stone, and the key in a cloth to throw it down the well, and they dump it and cover the well again so that it can't get out.
Yeah.
They use the stone as like weight. To like keep the key down there and the hand pieces.
Yeah. So this basically solidifies the fact that the other mother can't ever escape anymore.
And now like the children's warnings are like obsolete now. Like it's fine. Like now she's safe.
Yeah. So the final scene of the movie, everybody in the apartment is planting, planting tulips, roses,
beets
in the garden.
Mr. Beets, planting his beets.
So we see Coraline grab a tray of lemonade. She's passing it out to everybody, like, "Hey, like, thanks for coming, blah blah blah." And then at the very final moment of the movie, we see YB bring his grandmother in, and I don't think did we mention this, that her twin sister was one of the children that were abducted. So we see Coraline approaching YB's grandmother. I have a story to tell you.
Ooh.
So...
Okay, so basically, everyone, that's how the movie ends, and that's a wrap.
Yep. So, now's my theory. So I have 2 theories, but they lead into each other.
Okay.
So you know the first theory I already mentioned. It's a dream.
That the whole last scene was a dream.
Yeah. So, context clues... Of course, I said in the beginning, right? When I think the dream actually started from when she was alone, when her mom left her.
Her mom left her.
All the way to the end of to the end of like the night when like the claw or whatever.
Right.
Because here's my logic behind it. She can only really open the door when she's and in the middle of the night when she's sleeping,
Right.
or when she's supposedly woken up by something. And then when she opens the door, like she doesn't ever leave through the door to wake up into the real world. She always just
Right.
wakes up in the real world.
Right.
So, but right when she escapes the other mother after finding out she needs to get button eyes or whatever, she goes through the door. She doesn't wake up from a dream.
Right.
She just goes through the door. So what does that tell you? It tells you that she never really left the dream world. She was still in the dream world. So all of those events and everything was just leading her into a dream. But I think what really solidifies it is the fact that her parents don't remember anything.
Yeah, I was super shocked. Like, even watching it a second time, I was like, wait, how do they not remember that they were literally trapped in a snow globe?
Yeah, I mean, people are going to say, well, she's a witch. She can, like, just erase their memories, whatever. But, I mean, she, of course, didn't want to, like... Why would she want to erase the memories of the parents? There was no purpose in that.
And she had no time to erase their memories.
Yeah, so, like, obviously... I mean, maybe it was a curse, but, you know, realistically speaking, like, she probably just didn't do anything. So the parents obviously didn't remember because it was only a dream.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Like, you're so right that every time she entered, it was, you know, through, like, sleeping and waking up.
Yeah.
But and then she would go through the door. But then every time she left, she would go to sleep and wake up in her room.
Yeah, that's why when her logic hit...
Whoa.
Yeah, because when she like tried to escape the other mother, she was like, oh, I'm going to go to sleep now.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to wake up in the real world. But she couldn't because she was still dreaming.
Because she was just in a dream the
Yeah.
whole time. Oh my, I never picked that up.
So this is where the second theory comes in. This is more just kind of like the metaphor of the movie.
Okay.
But I'm almost thinking that the purpose of the dream was to get her to move on. Very similar to Spirited Away. Very similar. Mm-hmm. Because she's trying to grow up. I guess, like, she's moving to a new place. She's, like, not fitting in, obviously, and she's just, like, unhappy with the situations that she's being put in. But because of the dreams that she's been having, she realizes that she should be more appreciative of what she has instead of what she doesn't have.
Yes.
This is solidified. This is when I started theorizing, when the snow globe that the parents had broken when they got saved and rescued in the world. If you notice specifically, the snow globe that was broken was Detroit. And where's Detroit located? In Michigan. And where did they come from? Michigan. So what does that tell you? That she has to leave behind her old home to go to the new home. So she is trying to move on. That's the purpose of the dreams. And, you know, they say, like, you know, the dreams that you have aren't real, but they're based off of reality. So, like,
your subconscious.
Yeah. So, right, she's running away from the other mother. Usually running away from things means that you're trying to escape
your responsibilities.
Yeah. So that's what she's trying to do. So.
Holy heck. I never put that together about the Detroit snow globe.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I'm just like, you know what? I mean, of course, all far-fetched, possibly far-fetched, but.
I'm your, like, BFF, but, like, I think it's, like, a great... Oh my God, I didn't even think about it be.
I didn't. By the way, I never prefaced this by her. I told her I had two theories, but I never told her what it was.
I told him to save it for the podcast because I wanted to be surprised. We were literally getting dinner before this, and he did a cliffhanger on me, or like he like had a surprise, and I was like, no, save it for the podcast. I want my reaction to be real.
So this is her genuine reaction. But yes, those are my theories. I mean, obviously, I'm sure I didn't research the theories, so I'm sure they probably like came up with this already on the internet or whatever. But like, as far as like me watching the movie, this is what I came up with.
And you put that together. Wow, B.
Yeah, like I literally I have my notes right here, and I circled Detroit globe broken.
I'm looking at it. I can confirm, everyone.
So I'm just saying right now that it's a metaphor for her moving on with her real life. So that's that. Those are my theories.
Wow. Well, I mean, mine are pretty similar to yours. I mean, I don't have a theory, but just the overarching idea of this movie is things are not always as they seem. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, obviously this world that she enters is happy and perfect in every way, and she wants to stay in it, but it's all a trap.
Yeah.
And then she sees her reality as like this bleak and forever dreary reality, but it's really not. She's just, maybe it was just her attitude, you know? So once she got a better attitude, her real world became better. And it was all in her own doing. It's kind of like maybe growing up. You know, when she was sad and when like she felt like ignored from her parents, it's because she was being selfish.
Yeah.
And like trying to just think about herself. But when she started thinking about other people, like her neighbors, her parents, then the world got brighter.
Wow, this is really paralleling Spirited Away now that you think about it.
Okay, yeah. Also, I kind of had like a dark thought when you said Spirited Away. I was like, what if this is actually like Totoro? And she's actually dead.
Oh, because that would explain. Well, I guess not. Well, I guess it could kind of explain the parents.
Like, what if? Because in the movie, like, or you hear like that her and her mom are arguing, and it's because it's the scene where Coraline wants to get the gloves, but the mom said no, we can't because of something, and Coraline says, oh, it's because you got into an accident with the car or with the truck or something. So basically the mom got into a car accident on their way here.
That was the reason why they moved. That was in the beginning of the movie. That's why. That was like, they were saying like, well, it's because of the accident. And then the mom was like, it's not my fault that truck was in the way. Or no. Was it the mom? No, Coraline said that. It's like, it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, it's not my fault. And the mom's like, I didn't say it was your fault.
Yeah.
So what if this is actually a Totoro situation and Coraline died, but she didn't know, and she just kind of went along with the move?
Do you think her mom died too? Because that would explain why the other mother was there instead, because she's trying to like find her other mom.
In my theory, like whatever, I don't think the other mother died, or I don't think the real mother died. I think it was just Coraline who died, and you know, like maybe they did. If she died, they didn't leave on good terms with her parents, so she manifested this better mother.
Oh my god, that would explain. Maybe she's in hell. Maybe that's why she was like, or maybe she was like teetering between hell. She's in purgatory right now.
Yeah, and maybe that's why, you know, like the portal, or like that thing that like the wormhole, wormhole between the two worlds kind of looked like purgatory.
Oh my god, we have so many theories right now.
Whoa, I thought about that one on the spot.
Oh my god,
because you said Spirited Away, it made me think of, what if she's actually dead?
Oh my god. I feel like there's a lot of metaphors we could throw away at this, but I think the main thing is that the overarching theme is, don't take for granted what you have.
Things are not what they seem.
Yeah, and just appreciate what you have, basically.
Yeah, you know, and I just want to put this out there for parents. Like, you know, as kids, sometimes we don't realize how hard our parents work for us.
Yeah.
We think like, oh, like they're always working, they're always busy. But it's because they're working for you.
Yeah.
Like, as kids, you don't realize how expensive you are.
Yeah.
Until you become an adult and you're paying all your own bills, feeding yourself.
I mean, as a kid, I was like always kind of, I feel like I was on the opposite side of the spectrum. I feel like my parents were like a little too involved in my life. But I feel, you know, like I appreciate them. And I think the moral of the story is like, kids, appreciate your parents.
Yeah. And if they seem like they're being hard on you, or like they don't give you attention, just know that what they do, they're doing for you.
Yeah, like, I mean, unless they're abusive, then in case, like...
Then, okay, let's think of the positive ones.
Yeah, like, just remember that whatever they have to do, like, whatever you feel right now is because they're trying to protect you, they're trying to help you, they're trying to make sure that you're safe and you're...
And, like, you're taken care of.
Yeah.
So, you know, just thank you to my parents and my dad, who's, like, commenting on every video, liking every video. Thank you, guys.
Her dad is the #1 fan.
Yeah, our #1 fan. But yeah, so that was basically Coraline.
Yeah.
Now, let's go back to our 3 questions that we asked for every Tea with Honey time. Mm-hmm. Was it a good movie, B?
Yes. I would argue to say out of the 4 movies we reviewed this month, this is my favorite one. And it will always probably be my favorite one.
I concur. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because this is more of our genre. Like, you know, the other ones were very like family friendly, kid very friendly. This one just had like a bit of darkness to it.
Yeah, this one is it was family oriented, I guess, but it was overlaid by like a dark sheathing.
Yeah.
So it made for a good movie. It was a very thrilling movie.
And it was really thought provoking.
Yeah.
In a sense where, you know, like it's relatable in a sense, like, you know, when your parents are busy and you want them to play with you, but they can't. And then when you realize, oh, like, I love my parents, blah, blah, blah. Like, weirdly, I felt like this one was relatable.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a good movie. Like, in general, great movie for Halloween.
Straightforward. Yeah, great.
It was kind of scary at times. It was funny at times. It made you go through feels.
Yeah, and let's be real. The production, the claymation.
Yeah. I think it took like 3 years to make.
I mean, with the detail they did, yeah, I can see why.
So good. Oh, God. I really wanted to go into claymation like when I was younger. Anyways, second question. Does the movie hold up in today's Halloween culture?
You know, I think it does. I mean, although it's not specifically Halloween material, like there's no like pumpkins or anything.
Yeah.
This would be a good watch for the month of October.
Yeah.
It could definitely put you in like a little scary, dark mood.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I definitely don't think it's a Halloween movie per se. It's definitely like, it's good for Halloween though. Like, I would see watching it for Halloween. It's just not Halloween themed.
Like, out of all the months in the year.
Yeah.
I could see watching this in October.
Yeah, like I wouldn't see watching it any other time of the year.
Yeah.
It wouldn't really make sense to me. But like, I mean, so you know what? Based off those lines, I guess it could be a good Halloween movie. But it's just not,
It could be a good October movie. Maybe not Halloween.
Yeah. Like, I feel it's not scary enough to be a Halloween movie, but it's not like
festive. It doesn't have the festive Halloween spirit.
Yeah.
Like, compared to the other 3 movies we did, where it was Halloween Town, like the title itself, Hocus Pocus, Twitch is very Halloween oriented.
Yeah, I mean, Twitches was a stretch, but you know, it still had Halloween.
Happened on Halloween Day.
But let's put this into preference here, or let's put this into like context here. This is our favorite movie of the month.
Yes.
Just letting you know, it's not because this is. Like, just because it's not a good Halloween movie, quote unquote Halloween movie.
It's actually our favorite though.
Yeah, it's the best movie. It's just not a good, I guess, like, it's not centered around Halloween. So, But I guess not every horror movie has to be centered around Halloween to be a good Halloween movie.
Right.
But, you know, for this one specifically, it could just be a scary movie, which is fine, you know.
Okay, now finally to our last question. Do we still like it? If not, why? So you watched this first time sophomore year.
Yeah.
Do you still like it?
Of course I still like it. I actually like it more now because sophomore year, I was just watching it because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like edgy. I want to be scary. Yeah. But this one, I'm like looking for the details now.
And like, I think you can kind of do more critical thinking, more like analysis of it. Like, not like just to be like, you know, for this, but, you know, watching it the first time, you can definitely catch it.
Yeah, like I definitely feel like post-college, I have like a more critical mindset to it. So it's easier for me to see like the metaphors and all of this. And even if it wasn't direct metaphors and wasn't intentional metaphors.
Or even like the clues.
Yeah, it still led us to these conclusions that are really interesting and like thought-provoking and everything.
It's funny, everyone, because at dinner, we just talked about critical thinking.
Yeah, we were talking about how like our high school selves were probably like not as smart as our college selves.
Yeah.
But anyways, what do you think? Do you still like it?
From 1 year ago when I first watched it, yes, I still like it. I was so shook. I even told my twin sister, you need to watch this. It's going to blow your mind.
I'm still surprised you guys never really watched it.
I just think it didn't come up. Because, you know, we didn't have Netflix back then.
Yeah.
So it just wasn't readily available. And it just, out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. To be fair, the first time I watched it was in the ABC Family. It premiered like the next year.
ABC Family, wow.
Yeah, it premiered on Halloween the next year over. So I was like, okay, I'm going to watch it. Actually, funny story. I watched the movie before it premiered on ABC Family because I saw the previews on ABC Family and they're like, oh, we're going to present Coraline or whatever. So like as soon as they showed that, I was like, I went online.
Oh.
This is on the days of like Put Locker when that was a real thing.
Yes, Put Locker. Oh my God. God, before Netflix was a thing,
Yeah.
we all know. Put Locker, you got those weird pop-up ads, but you were able to watch stuff for free.
Don't add me, okay? Everybody did that at one point.
Okay, I mean, if you want to talk about nostalgic, we can talk about Put Locker.
But I want to Put Locker. I found it. I was like, okay, I'm watching this full thing. I watched the entire thing, and then when I went on ABC Family, I watched it again because it was so good. But yeah.
So overall, we can say we still like it.
Yeah.
From you, when you watched it, God, how old were we? Like 8 years ago?
Yeah. Oh my God, it was 8 years ago.
Technically 9.
Oh my God.
Oh God. Okay, let's move on. And from mine 1 year ago. So, yeah, everyone, that wraps up our Halloween Tea with Honey time. But just so you guys know, Tea with Honey time is just our movie review series that we will be doing continually throughout our podcast. Maybe we want to shoot for once a month, maybe.
Yeah, at least once a month.
Because y'all know, like, we have tons of nostalgic movies to review.
We have so many. I mean, we were discussing today other movies we could possibly watch.
And, if you have any suggestions, feel free to comment below. Let us know what, movies make you think of nostalgia.
Yeah, and if you have like a format change, or if you want us to answer more questions or different questions.
And, please leave some constructive criticism, some reviews. Like, what did you think about this Tea with Honey time? We really enjoyed doing them. And yeah, so that wraps up this Halloween Tea with Honey time. But next week is
Halloween special. I'm so excited for it.
We're so excited putting it together.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, I just wish we could make it already.
I know. I'm so excited. We have so much to do, but I can't wait for you guys to listen to it.
It's really going to be a treat.
It really is. So make sure to stay tuned for that. It's going to be a little longer than our usual podcast, but I think it'll be well worth it.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that next week. And until then,
hope you guys have a great Halloween. Mm-hmm. Be safe. Hope your outfits or your costumes are great.
Yeah, I'm expecting that I Like It, the Kanye West music video with Lil Pump. Those boxes. God. I'm expecting everybody to be out there this year.
Please no. Go be little Coralines.
Be like little Hocus Pocus. Oh, you should be the Sanderson sisters. Oh, that'd be fun. Anyways,
we digress.
Until next week, guys.
Yeah, until next week. Look forward to it. It's going to be really exciting. So that wraps up this podcast.
Yeah.
Have a great day, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, bees.
Bye.
To Be or Not to Be was directed, produced, and hosted by Michelle Felipe and Austin Chun. Special thanks to our friend Simon for letting us use his office. Music by Joakim, Karud, and you can find him on SoundCloud, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, Twitter, and iTunes. Licensed under the Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 Unported Share Alike license.
You can find us at To Be or Not to Be, one word, on Instagram and Twitter. And make sure to subscribe and like us on YouTube and SoundCloud.